Welcome to section 3.1, Graphs and Application. So there's going to be multiple parts for this section, but they're fairly easy, fairly simple, and pretty straightforward. So our first part is we're going to determine which quadrant a coordinate point lies. So just to review, a coordinate point always has an x and a y. X is the first number, y is the second number. So let me write out the form. So again, x is always the first number, y is the second number. Now here I wrote a xy plane to basically be a graphic organizer. So make sure you have this in your note. This is something that you can review and memorize to determine which quadrant a coordinate point lies. So here, this is quadrant 1. So what I'm going to do is going to write Q1, and the way how it rotates or moves for your next quadrant is going to rotate counterclockwise. So over here is Q2, quadrant 2. Then over here, this is quadrant 3. And then right here will be quadrant 4, or Q4. In quadrant 1, our x and our y values are positive numbers. In quadrant 2, our x will be a negative value and our y will be a positive value. And in quadrant 3, both x and y will be negative numbers or negative values. Quadrant 4, the x value or the x number will be positive, while the y value or the y number will be negative. So as long as you have this in your notes and memorize, it will be fairly simple to determine which coordinate point lies. So let's take a look at our examples here. Example 1, we have a coordinate point -7, 6. So my x value is negative, so it's going to be either in quadrant 2 or quadrant 3. Then we check with our y value, it's positive, so the only one that has these criteria is quadrant 2. So I'm just going to write quadrant 2, and our answer will be in this form. So I'm writing it this way because that's what you might see, say, on a TSI or a SAT. Quadrant 2. In our second example, we have a coordinate point 4, -12. So our first number, our x value, it's a positive number. So that will be in quadrant 1 and quadrant 4 because x is positive. Looking at our y value, our y number is negative. So the only criteria is quadrant 4. So x is positive, y is negative. So my answer will be quadrant 4. I'm going to write the Roman numeral 4. So that's all you have to do, and that's pretty much easy. So we're going to do some more example for this section. Alright, so we have some examples trying to identify which quadrant a coordinate point lies. So in our third example, we have a coordinate point -5, -9. Looking at the first x value, -5, so it's negative. So the only criteria is quadrant 2 or quadrant 3. Looking at the y value, which is a -9, the only criteria is quadrant 3, where x and y are both negative. So I'm going to write quadrant 3. Quadrant Roman numeral 3. And then in our fourth example, we have a coordinate point 6, 14. So taking a look at our first x value, it's positive, so it's going to be either in quadrant 1 or 4. Then looking at our y value, it's also positive, so the only criteria is quadrant 1, where x and y are both positive. So I'm going to write quadrant Roman numeral 1. And that's pretty much what to do. So again, make sure to have this in your notes, review, and memorize the patterns to determine where a corner point lies.